Okay, it's time for a dupes video. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. I usually keep a running list on my phone. So whenever I come across a good dupe or alternative, I write it down. And then as soon as I have enough products, I sit down and film a video. All summer, I had like 2 products on the list. And then over the last few weeks, I feel like I came across so many good dupes and alternatives that the list just grew. I actually took a few products off the list because, to be honest with you, I want to share products that are just as good as the high-end product. And in most cases, these are even better. Like if I had to choose between the high-end option and the drugstore option, I'd go with the drugstore option, and not just because of the price, the quality is actually better. I really think this is one of the best groups of dupes I've had in a long time. Like the drugstore just continues to get better and better, and honestly, I love to see it. So there are a lot of things to share in today's video. Of course, I'll let you know if it is like an identical dupe or just a really, really good alternative that you might actually prefer instead of the high-end option. So I have a couple of videos like this that I've done over like the last year or two. I'll link them in the description box if you like these types of videos, but let's get into it. Let's start with a little bit of an obvious one, but easily one of my favorite dupes. So in a previous video, I mentioned how the Revolution Beauty, the True Icon palette is a really good alternative to Patrick Ta's Major Dimension 2. That's actually one of my favorite palettes of all time. It is such a beautiful color story. I still have that one, but honestly, I don't reach for it after trying this one because I actually like this formula better. So the Patrick Ta ones have really good pigment, and these are very pigmented too, but in my opinion, they're just a little bit easier to work with. I actually like Revolution Beauty's metallic formula better than Patrick Ta's, and I don't know if it's because my Patrick Ta palette is a little bit older, but those don't feel as creamy and smooth. These definitely give more of like a wet looking finish, and I sometimes experience a little bit of fallout with the Patrick Ta formula. So all of that being said, I think I might have talked about this around this time last year, and I've ended up using this one so much more than Major Dimension 2. They just came out with a good alternative to Major Dimension 3, which is Patrick Ta's fully matte palette, and then it does have the 2 creams in it too. The Patrick Ta palettes are very expensive, so if you can't afford them or you don't want to spend your money on them, this is such a good alternative. And again, I like this formula better. I really, really do. I just used this in a fairly recent video, so I'll include the clips of my eye look. I'm wearing it today. I'm actually, now I can't remember which one did I do on which eye. I think I'm wearing the Patrick Ta palette on the right eye and then the Revolution Beauty palette on the left eye. And then on top, I have a Tower 28 shimmer all over the lids on both sides. But the shades match up so well. I'll swatch them next to each other so you can see what they look like. A couple of the shades look a little bit different when you swatch them, but once you have these palettes on the eyes, you will not notice a difference. You truly won't. Again, I just like this formula better. I think it is easier to work with. If you're someone who likes a shadow that's very creamy, very easy to blend, whether you are a beginner, whether you just have a hard time blending eyeshadow, because that can be the case for me some days. My eyelids tend to be a little bit dry. I'm dealing with more wrinkles than I used to, and some matte shadows are just hard to work into the crease, or they're just not quick and effortless. This palette is so fast and easy to use. I use it for everyday looks. I use it for more of a smoky eye, and I never have any issues with it. So highly recommend this. The packaging is not quite as nice as Patrick Ta, but it's a $13 palette. Those palettes are expensive. High-end eyeshadow palettes in general are ridiculously overpriced these days, and I feel like we've really normalized, you know, not even just $50 palettes, but like $60, $70, $80 palettes. And if you don't want to spend that much, this one is $13 and truly performs like a high-end palette. I wouldn't call it an exact dupe because I do feel like the formulas are a little bit different. But again, this is something I actually like better, and it has like a proven track record in my collection. I've used this one so much more than the high-end alternative. So no matter what color story you're looking for, whether it is one of these or something different, they have other options on Ulta's website. Highly recommend going with one of these. Like I said, I do have a shadow from Tower 28 on my lids. It's the same shadow on both sides. It's their GoGo Cooling Shimmer Stick in the shade Chateau. I recently picked this up and I love it. It is so beautiful. It's an interesting texture. It's kind of like a jelly, creamy type shadow that gives your eyes like that wet looking shine. It's so pretty. It dries very quickly and then it stays in place extremely well. I actually prefer this over like a traditional cream shadow because it goes on in a similar way, but it's lighter weight and it dries down quickly and then again doesn't move throughout the day. You can go in with a lighter layer, you can kind of build it up. So I thought about picking up another shade or two during the upcoming Sephora sale. This retails for $20. It's pretty tiny. I don't think you necessarily get a ton of product in here, but for me, this probably isn't something that I would fly through super quickly because I'm not wearing a shadow like this all the time. Usually more so when I want like more of an impactful statement on the eyes. Anyway, right around the same time, I actually purchased this product from Catrice, not even realizing that it would be a really good dupe. It's the Drunken Diamonds eyeshadow stick. So the big downside for the dupe is that this one only comes in 3 shades, whereas Tower 28 comes in 8. It does look like 3 of the Catrice shades match up pretty closely to 3 of the Tower 28 shades. So if you're looking at the Tower 28 shades and you're like, oh, I really want the purple one, or like the rose gold one, or the copper one, maybe consider the Catrice alternative, because in my opinion, this is like the exact same formula. It goes on in the same way, it wears in the same way. Again, you get that wet looking sheen. I don't have exact color matches to show you, but I'll show you what the formulas look like on my hand next to each other so you can kind of see how they blend out and apply. Again, both formulas last really well throughout the day without any creasing or fading or smudging. These come with a very similar amount of product. The Catrice ones come with 0.08 ounces and then Tower 28 comes with 0.09. But Tower 28's formula retails for $20 and the Catrice ones are $7. So essentially you could buy all 3 of the Catrice ones for pretty much the same price as the Tower 28 one. I just wish they had more shades, which is a big downside. And that can be a downside when it comes to some drugstore alternatives and some drugstore dupes. They just don't offer the range high-end brands do, which that is something to take into consideration. But again, if you are considering one of the shades Catrice has to offer, I would go with this formula because there really is no difference in the way they apply and wear throughout the day. I believe e.l.f. just came out with something similar. I couldn't tell just like looking at it on the website if it was the exact same thing, but I feel like we're going to see even more brands end up launching something like this in the future, which I'm all for because I really like the idea of like a quick, easy one and done shadow or like a pop of shimmer on the eyes that stays in place all day long. So I'm loving both of these formulas. While we're on the topic of Catrice, I have to say they did a spot on dupe for the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Luminous Powder Blushes. Both formulas are kind of like that very light, kind of soft baked formula. They are basically like blush highlighter hybrids. So if you love a glowy blush or like a pink toned highlighter, these are going to be perfect for you. The Rare Beauty blush is really pretty. To be honest, I do think there are other glowy blushes that tend to be a little bit more flattering on my skin. If you have a lot of texture on your cheeks or you have like acne scars like I do from when I was younger, this type of product does tend to highlight that area, which isn't a big deal. Maybe you don't care about that, but if you're someone who isn't trying to draw attention to that, something like this is going to kind of spotlight that area. For me, I love a good glowy blush, even if it does kind of highlight the texture on my skin. So I don't find that to be a big deal, but I know a lot of people haven't liked this Rare Beauty formula because of that. So if you've kind of been on the fence about it, if you're like, I want to try it, but I'm not sure I would love it, the Catrice formula is only $8. So there's less of a financial risk if you end up hating it because instead of spending $27, you're spending $8. Now again, Rare Beauty does have 6 different options. Catrice has 4. There are some really, really close shade matches. I'll swatch the ones that I have so you can see what they look like, but Rare Beauty does have more of a range overall. I will say Catrice has twice the amount of product though. I was kind of shocked when I read that because this is like a third of the price. So not only is it less expensive, you're getting twice as much product in here. So the value really can't be beat with the Catrice alternative if there is a shade that you think you would like to try. I think it was back in the summer, Catrice did like a highlighter dupe for the Rare Beauty highlighters. I'm pretty sure it was part of a limited edition collection, so I'm not sure if it's still around. If it is, I'll link it in the description box below. It is very, very close, but it's not like spot on identical. Sometimes I actually prefer the Catrice highlighter formula, but I feel like it's just missing like that extra silky factor the Rare Beauty one has. So honestly, I was surprised when I tried these and I was like, they're spot on identical. There really are no differences. I hope they end up launching the highlighter formula again as part of their permanent line and maybe just, changing it slightly. So hopefully they can get even closer next time. But that is a good alternative if it is still around. And it's not as fragile. Those Rare Beauty highlighters break on me like crazy. Like it doesn't matter how careful I am. I feel like no matter what, even if it's just like sitting in a drawer, somehow it will shatter. A couple more blush dupes for you. So I was excited about this one because the Rare Beauty Matte Bouncy Blush Formula is probably one of my all-time favorite makeup products. It's so unique. It looks so good on the skin. And like I said earlier, if you're someone who deals with a lot of texture or acne scarring, this formula is so flattering because it really does give the skin like that smooth airbrushed look. It goes on perfectly every single time. So I do have 2 shades of this. I haven't purchased more. The other shades that Rare Beauty offers, I don't think would be either the most flattering on my skin or I'm just not, particularly drawn to them. I do love these 2 a lot. So anyway, I've been trying a lot of products since then, just like hoping brands would come out with something similar. And we are seeing it more and more. So I feel like it is a formula we'll see even more over the next few months. Anyway, Revolution Beauty came out with something. These are the Bouncy Blur blushes. These are such a good dupe. Actually, let me clarify. These I would consider an alternative because while the ingredients and the textures are pretty close, the actual finish is just a little bit different because I find that the Revolution Beauty ones give a little bit of a glow to the skin. It's nothing too over the top. And for a matte blush, the Rare Beauty ones actually look very skin-like. They don't have that flat matte finish to them, but the Revolution Beauty ones just have a slightly more obvious glow. I actually prefer the Revolution Beauty formula because I do like when my cheek products give a little bit of a glow. It's not a glittery or shimmery look. It truly is just like a slightly luminous glow. So it looks so flattering on the skin, but it combines that with like the smooth airbrushed effect that you get from the Rare Beauty blushes. They both have like that bouncy, squishy, kind of like putty, creamy formula, which is obviously just fun to play with. You can apply these with your finger, which is a nice way to kind of build them up. But I always love using, I don't have it in front of me. There is like a very specific brush from BK Beauty. I think it's the 111, their dense bronzer brush. That brush applies this product perfectly. You don't have to buy the BK Beauty one. Honestly, any kind of like dense brush with a little bit of fluffiness to it will do a great job. And you can just kind of stipple it on. I would recommend stippling this type of product rather than blending it into the skin because it will kind of disturb your makeup underneath. Because this is like a creamy product, not like a true cream, but like a cream to powder hybrid, it does go on best in the way you would typically apply a cream rather than a powder. But they both give just such a gorgeous, smooth look to the skin. You can sheer them up, you can build them out. The Rare Beauty ones come in 7 different shades, and then Revolution Beauty comes in 6 different shades. And again, you can find some good matches between the 2 lines. Like if there is a Rare Beauty one you want to try, you might be able to find a good alternative in the Revolution Beauty line. They are actually similar in size, even though Rare Beauty looks a lot bigger. Rare Beauty comes with 0.22 ounces and then Revolution Beauty comes with 0.19. So just slightly smaller, but again, a lot less expensive. Revolution Beauty retails for $11, whereas Rare Beauty is $27. So if you've been curious about this formula, again, it's not something that I feel like everyone will love. So if you've been hesitant to buy the Rare Beauty one because of that, you might be better off picking up a less expensive alternative from Revolution Beauty. Also, they do last on the skin very, very well. I know sometimes that comes up like, is the drugstore product as long lasting as the high-end product? If it's not, you won't see it in these videos. Like these are products that truly perform, again, just as great, if not better. Revolution Beauty also did these cute little liquid blushes. These are their Super Dewy Blush Bursts. I really like these. I think they're really gorgeous on the skin, and these are a good alternative to the high-end product that I'm going to share in just a second. They're not a spot-on dupe, but I think that some people might actually prefer this if you like something that can be sheared out. That's not necessarily super intensely pigmented. If you prefer pigment, I would go with the higher end alternative, but I wanted to mention these as a good alternative because I know some people like a little bit of a softer look. So this is from Huda Beauty. I only have 2 minis, but the minis have lasted me a long time. This is their Blush Filter Liquid Blush. The 2 shades I have are actually very close to 2 of the Revolution Beauty blushes I own as well. So I'll swatch them next to each other, but again, keep in mind the Huda Beauty formula is significantly more pigmented. If you use less product, you can get a little bit of a softer look, but I like these because they do have a good amount of pigment to them. So on days where I want more of a vibrant blush look, I'll end up reaching for these. To be honest, day to day, I usually prefer something a lot softer, which is when I would reach for this product from Revolution Beauty. And again, the price difference is pretty significant. These are minis, but if you're comparing the full-size products, the Revolution Beauty ones are, I had to double check, $10, and the full-size Huda Beauty ones are $23. Again, a similar amount of product. Revolution Beauty's blushes have 0.14 ounces, and then the full-size Huda Beauty ones come with 0.15 ounces. They both have a small, kind of similar type of applicator, which makes me wonder if Revolution Beauty was trying to dupe Huda Beauty. At first, I was like, are they more similar to the Say Dewy Liquid Blushes or the Huda Beauty formula? And honestly, I feel like it could go either way. Say's formula does sheer out more as well, which is closer to this product, but I feel like these give a very similar glow to the Huda Beauty ones. I think a lot of the Huda Beauty ones actually have like shimmer or full-on glitter in them, which I know is a turnoff for a lot of people. So if that's the case for you, you might actually prefer Revolution Beauty for that reason too. Huda Beauty does come in 11 different shades, but Revolution has a pretty good shade range with the 8 that they do have. I would say that another difference between these two formulas is that Huda Beauty's probably dries down faster, so you don't have quite as much time to work with it and blend it out as you do the Revolution Beauty one, but it also stays in place a little bit longer. So if you're looking for like the longest wearing option, more pigment, more shades to choose from, you might still prefer Huda Beauty. And it's not outrageously expensive at $23, but I still wanted to mention this as an alternative because I know some people prefer something maybe a little less intense if you are typically intimidated by super pigmented blushes. And it's still like that gorgeous, glowy, hydrating formula that looks really beautiful on the skin. So I think both products have like their pros and cons. And again, you might still prefer the high-end option, but just wanted to mention this as a good alternative for those of you that are interested. Hard Candy has been one of my favorite brands for a few years. They're such an underrated brand, and I feel like they're starting to get more hype, which makes me excited because I just think they have so many good products, and most of their products are under $10, if not all of them. I feel like there are maybe one or two that are above that, but for the most part, their products are around like the $7 price point, which everything in today's video is $7, and as we talk about them, like you'll be blown away by that price point too. Anyway, I tried a couple of their new launches, which are obviously like meant to be dupes to some high-end products, and they really did nail them so well. So the first product I want to talk about is their new lip butter. So I originally bought 2 of these, and then I was at Walmart the other day and I bought 2 more. I fully admit I have a little bit of a lip balm problem. I think the issue is that I lose them all the time because I'm constantly bringing them with me, like throwing them in my purse, in the kids' bag, I'll throw them in my pocket, in my car, and I just like, I can't find half of them. That is the majority of my lip balm collection. So maybe it's not so out of hand, but I just love a good lip balm, and these are $7. These are basically identical to the Summer Fridays lip balms. This one specifically is Birthday Cake, and then this one is Buttercream. These smell really close, and these both have like a little bit of shimmer in them. It's not anything too noticeable on the lips. It's very subtle, but if you've been curious about this one from Summer Fridays because it is their only one that has shimmer in it, I'm telling you, save the money and go with this one from Hard Candy. I added these little charms to my Summer Fridays lip balm. How cute is this? This is like my new favorite hobby. I mean, I don't do it very often because it is a little tedious, but it always turns out so cute. And then I have like a little hook. So I just hook it onto my phone. I don't have my phone in front of me, or I hook it onto like my wallet, my bag, and it's perfect. And then I don't lose it, which is nice because who wants to lose like a $24 lip balm? I don't even want to lose a $7 lip balm. That's the first difference. The Hard Candy ones are $7. The Summer Fridays ones are $24. I love my Summer Fridays lip balms, but I haven't purchased a new one in a very long time. This is the last one that I bought, and I think I bought it back in March. I was at Sephora with my nieces, and we were just picking out like a fun product, so I splurged on it. And ever since then, like I enjoy it, I use it, but I just feel like there are so many good alternatives at this point. I know I've talked about ColourPop, I've talked about e.l.f. Those are really good alternatives, but I almost think this formula is maybe the most similar to Summer Fridays. I like ColourPop better than Summer Fridays because it's slightly thicker, but this one has like the same thin, glossy feel that the Summer Fridays lip balm has. This is definitely not like a thick, rich formula like the Ole Henriksen formula. That's my favorite lip balm formula of all time because it is more of a treatment. This one is, you know, just like the Summer Fridays. It's a little bit thinner, it's glossy, it feels good, but you'll have to reapply it multiple times throughout the day. I really think they nailed this formula. In my mind, it truly is a spot-on dupe. Every time I wear it, I'm more convinced. Like, yeah, that is the exact same thing. I compared the ingredients. They are very similar. Every everything, you know, kind of matches up. Like the packaging is the same, the actual applicator is the same. And I mean, they're spot on dupes. The actual shades and scents do differ. Hard Candy has 5 options and then Summer Fridays has 10. So Summer Fridays does have more of a variety to choose from. Again, if you're curious about the birthday cake one, I would just go with the Hard Candy alternative. And then I don't have the Summer Fridays mint, but Hard Candy does have a mint one as well. Hard Candy also came out with a new line of primers. I did pick up 2 of them, and after trying them, like I want to try the other ones because these are so good. It does kind of seem like they maybe were trying to dupe a lot of the popular viral primers out there, and I can't say for sure because, again, I've only tried 2 of them, but the Grip On Lock primer, again, spot on dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. For a long time, I was using the e.l.f. Power Grip as an alternative to this, and I like the Power Grip. It works well. I also like the Jelly Pop primer, but I think this one is even closer, and I actually like this formula better than e.l.f.'s formula. e.l.f.'s formula is a little bit thicker, and I find that once you blend it into the skin, it wears really well throughout the day. Like it leaves my skin feeling hydrated. It locks my makeup into place so well, but it does take a little bit of extra effort to like blend it into the skin because it is thick and it's very, very sticky. This one's a little bit thinner. It has more of a like lightweight gel texture, but again, very, very hydrating. Also locks your makeup into place extremely well. Both of these products are water-based, silicone-free, just like gripping, hydrating primers. They have a lot of similar ingredients in them. And again, at this point, there are a lot of alternatives to the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. So it's not like you have to only go with Hard Candy. You might have something in your collection that's pretty close, but if not, I highly recommend this one. And if you run out of like your e.l.f. Power Grip, maybe try this one because it's just so much easier to apply and you get the same effect. With winter right around the corner, I will absolutely be reaching for a hydrating primer even more. Again, very similar formulas. They both highlight aloe and niacinamide as 2 of their key ingredients. And if you look into the ingredient list, you know, pretty deeply, you'll find that there aren't a ton of major differences. This one is significantly less expensive. You actually get the same amount of product in here, 1.52 fluid ounces. So this is actually more than you get in a lot of the drugstore dupes and alternatives to this product from Milk. The thing is, this Hard Candy primer is $7. This Milk Makeup primer is $38. The Milk Makeup product is 5 times more expensive than the Hard Candy one. And again, they perform identically. Like if I was to apply these side by side and wear my makeup for 12 hours side by side, it would look identical on both sides. It would apply the same. Everything would lay on top of the primer the same. There really is no difference in the way these products apply and wear. So highly recommend the Hard Candy one. Again, you might already have alternatives to this in your collection, and I do like this. It performs so well. There's just no need to spend the money on it these days because there are so many great options at the drugstore that are basically identical, and this one's my favorite. Another spot on dupe, which I think I talked about these next 2 products when I did like a big drugstore review roundup, but I wanted to mention them in case you didn't watch that video. This is from Hard Candy again. It's their Grip On Lock setting spray. So again, I think this was meant to be a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Set and Refresh spray. They came out with another line of what are these called? Setting sprays. And it looks like most of the setting sprays are meant to dupe something that's gone viral or that's very, very popular. Again, I love this product. I use it a lot as an actual priming spray, especially during the winter, because it does leave my skin feeling super hydrated. It just refreshes my skin. If I do my skincare in the morning and then I'm doing my makeup a couple of hours later, well, I don't use this as much since I discovered the, why am I blanking? I'm blanking on everything today. Oh, the Dalba First Spray Serum. I feel like that's kind of replaced this, but if you've been around my channel for a while, I was using this very regularly before that. So anyway, if you're someone who does use this either to prime your skin or set your skin and you run out, maybe go for this one because again, $7. It is a fraction of the price of this one. But the Milk Makeup one is $38 and you get the same amount of product in here. So I'm telling you, if you love this, if this is like a holy grail for you and you run out, try this one from Hard Candy. I don't think you'll be disappointed. A lot of the time when it comes to like a drugstore setting spray, the mist isn't as nice. That's like my big complaint with NYX products. They have a lot of good setting sprays, but it's not like this nice, fine, even mist. Like it feels so good on the skin. It allows you to apply the product very evenly and it performs identically. I do want to say I'm not a cosmetic chemist, so when I look at the ingredient list like side by side, I do my best to analyze them, but I'm not an expert, so usually I can tell if they are close or, you know, they differ a lot. These 2 ingredient lists are not quite as similar as the primer ingredient list. So that might make a difference for you. You can definitely look into it if that's something you're interested in as well. So just wanted to mention that. But if you're looking for a good option to prep the skin or set the skin and give you like that nice hydrated feel without any shimmer or glitter, both of these are great, but again, $7 for this one. The last hard candy product that I wanted to highlight is their Glow Unlock Setting Spray. So I picked this up. I actually hadn't tried the high-end alternative that I'm going to talk about, the Iconic London Prep Set and Glow. And then when I was looking through my makeup collection, I was like, oh, I actually have this. I just hadn't tried it yet. So I tested them out side by side, and I actually prefer the hard candy one. This is $7 versus this one, which is $32. And the Iconic London one does come with slightly more product, but not by much. Hard candy comes with 3.4 fluid ounces, and then Iconic London comes with 4 fluid ounces. Iconic London does come in 2 shades, which I did want to mention because they also have like a bronzy kind of golden option if that's what you prefer. There are a couple of differences between these that definitely make me prefer the hard candy one. First of all, like I mentioned, the mist on the hard candy setting sprays is just, it's perfect. It's fine, it's comfortable, very, very gentle. The Iconic London one isn't bad, but it's just not as good in my opinion. The Iconic London one definitely has like a lot of fragrance. It has a very strong kind of floral scent. In my opinion, it's not the most appealing. I feel like it's something you might be able to overlook, but if you've tried this and you're like, oh, that is strong and I don't like it, then you might prefer the hard candy one for that reason alone. Both of these have shimmer in them, but I feel like on the skin, the Iconic London one almost looks glittery, depending on the lighting. Like if you're outside in the sun, you can definitely notice it more, whereas the hard candy shimmer is so fine that I feel like it does look glowy, but more so like a full-on illuminated glow rather than like a lot of shimmer or glitter. I'll try to make sure you can see the difference in the close-up shot of the products. Like you can even see in the bottle that the Iconic London one has like a bunch of silver sparkle, whereas the hard candy one just kind of has like this beautiful glow to it. So I think the hard candy one is actually much more flattering on the skin. I mean, if you want a glittery look, don't let me talk you out of it. And maybe you really like the way this looks on the skin. But for me, like day to day, when I want a glowy finish, I don't typically want like all of the sparkle mixed in. So I would reach for this one over the Iconic London one pretty much every single time, unless it was like a special occasion or I wanted like a glittery look on my chest and my shoulders, then I might reach for this one. They're both really, really beautiful. I tend to prefer more of a matte look overall, or I might like a little bit of a subtle glow. So this isn't the type of setting spray that I would reach for most often. If I'm reaching for a setting spray, it's usually to like really extend the wear of my makeup, like the One Size setting spray, the Urban Decay All Nighter. And if I want a glow, I would probably reach for like this one from Hard Candy or Milk Makeup over the other one, just because it would give like a nice hydrated glow. But if you want the illuminated glow, if you like that really beautiful kind of like pearly, like glazy finish, these do look really beautiful on the skin. I think the hard candy one is better for all of the reasons I listed. And if you're looking for an alternative to Iconic London, I don't think you'll be disappointed in this. The last thing I want to share with you is kind of like a bonus item. It's not a makeup product, but I've told you in a couple of videos, my guilty pleasure is the Touchland hand sanitizers. They're expensive. They're $10 each. You don't get a ton of product. You get like 1 fluid ounce, but they're cute. They're fun. They smell good. And my toddlers will use them without like any issue. Whereas if I try to put like regular hand sanitizer on them, they always give me a hard time. I mean, I like to blame my kids, but honestly, I like using them too. They smell good. They don't feel as harsh on the hands. And in the winter, I do deal with eczema on my hands, so hand sanitizer doesn't always feel great. Anyway, I was at Walmart the one day and I was just like walking through the aisle. I think I was picking up new soap for my kids, and these were in like the bath aisle. And I was like, those look just like the Touchland hand sanitizers, but these are significantly less expensive. These are from the brand Scent Theory, and these are $2.98. You can literally pick up 3 of these for the price of 1 Touchland hand sanitizer. And honestly, they have amazing scents. The one I have right here is Brazilian Coconut. One of you told me this was actually a very similar scent to a Sol de Janeiro scent. I don't know which one it is off the top of my head, but this smells really good. I have a couple of these. So I have Brazilian Coconut, I have a raspberry one, and then they came out with like I want to say it was like cozy suede, something for the fall that smells really good too. When I was looking online, Scent Theory offered 8 different options and then Touchland has 15. So there are significantly more Touchland hand sanitizer options, although 4 of those are new because they came out with them for the fall season. I feel like these are not quite as strong. Like the scent is pretty strong, but sometimes when I spray the Touchland ones, I'm like, this is too much. I bought a fall one. I think it was like gingerbread, ginger snap, something like that. Every time I use it, I'm like, this is a lot. So I actually prefer the way these smell. They're strong, but they're not quite as intense. And maybe it's because of the scents I chose. Like they aren't like that baking kind of cookie scent, which can be a little bit overwhelming. But these are just as cute. They're slim, compact. You can stick them right inside your purse, keep them in your car. And if your kids are like mine and they really like, this kind of design when it comes to hand sanitizer and they're willing to use them, again, go to Walmart, save yourself the money because $3 compared to 10, I don't think I can ever justify buying a Touchland one again. When I was checking out at Walmart, I was talking to the person who was helping me like ring all of the products through, and she told me Dollar Tree actually has a really good alternative too. So I need to go to my local Dollar Tree and see if I can find them. But highly recommend these. They're so good. Just one detail that I wanted to mention, the Touchland ones have 70% alcohol content, whereas the Scent Theory ones have 62. 62 still meets like that minimum requirement, but the Touchland ones are slightly higher in that area. Although I did read that Scent Theory contains glycerin, which is meant to be a little bit more moisturizing, and glycerin can actually help slow the evaporation of alcohol, allowing the product to stay on the hands longer and kill more germs. So I feel like it kind of balances out. Obviously, I can't know for sure because I haven't run like any tests as to which one is more effective at killing more germs. But that is something that I like quickly looked into because obviously if you're using hand sanitizer, like first and foremost, you want it to actually kill the germs. So just something I would throw out there. But I love these. I think they're a great alternative with the holiday season right around the corner. If you have anyone in your life who is a fan of Touchland, then these might be a good alternative or like a fun stocking stuffer, a good gift add-on, something like that. So that's everything I wanted to share with you in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful, especially if you were considering any of the high-end products. Maybe the drugstore dupe or alternative could be a great option for you instead. I have a couple of other videos like this on my channel, so I'll link them on the screen and in the description box below. But thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. If you have tried any good drugstore dupes lately, let us know in the comments so we can check them out as well. And I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.